So let's talk about risks first of all. One of the risks of this strategy is cannibalizing the incumbent brand that's already in the market. So for us, as I said a couple of times now, we are very intentional about product quality. So there's some important quality distinctions between X Vapes and the Spherex brand. Typically, the distillate potency in X Vapes is less than the potency in the Spherex brand. And the amount of terpenes that we dilute the distillate with is higher in Spherex versus X Vapes. So Spherex is going to be more potent and more flavorful. X Vapes is going to be slightly less potent and slightly less flavorful. So there is a quality distinction. So customers are getting more when they pay more. They're getting value at every level. So I just want to make that distinction first. So that being said, what we saw in the market as the opportunity was the brands that were already at that value tier. What we heard from our retail partners was there's inferior quality hardware where we get 25% of the units returned in some cases, and the taste, the flavor isn't as good, the distillate isn't as refined. And so we said, oh, well, those are all problems that we know how to solve. And so the hardware is very high quality for X Vapes as well, less than 1% fail rate for that hardware. And it has a good flavor, even though it's not as flavorful as Spherex. So we make the retailers are aware, obviously, they're buying both brands from us, and they really appreciate the quality of service that we provide to them in that way. But we don't we don't inform consumers that they're being produced by the same company. Now, a bud tender may do that, and definitely we try to be diligent, but some of the retailers do list it on a menu as X Vapes by Spherex. When we see that, we ask them to make changes because, to the greatest extent possible, the conversation we hope to avoid is a shopper going into a store saying, "I'd like to buy Spherex," and the bud tender saying, "Well, this is a less expensive product, and it's virtually the same thing." So we try to avoid that happening.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the marketing programs, completely separate. The personas are very different. We have different shopper personas for each of the brands. The activations that we do are very different. So we really don't show up in the same way with both brands anywhere.